To ask a question for Coach Saban, please press 10 on your telephone's keypad now. And, Coach, while we wait on those questions, if you could please take a moment to comment on your team as they enter the LSU game this week.
Right. Well, we're trying to get our guys to get back to technical execution. Sometimes when you have a bye week, you gotta get refocused. And we're obviously playing a great team in LSU. Great offensive team, lead the country, number one team in the nation offensively. Jaden Daniels, obviously, to me, is an outstanding quarterback, really good passer, really good runner with the ball, can extend plays. They've got great receivers, aggressive on defense. Harold Perkins is, really a disruptive player. And so this is going to be a great challenge for us, but something that, we embrace and kind of look forward to, playing in these kind of games.
First up, we have Ted Lewis of the New Orleans Times-Picayune.
I don't know if you realize or not, but this will be the final time that CBS will televise the LSU-Alabama game. And I was wondering, from your standpoint, your thoughts about the impact that CBS has had on the SEC over the years, and particularly this game being played in prime time almost every year for the last 10, 12 years. And lastly, your relationship with the folks at CBS, how that's been.
Yeah. Well, we have a great relationship with the folks at CBS. I think CBS has been great for the SEC. I think back in the day, we were like the first conference that had our own network. So we had nationally televised games when, most other conferences were regionally televised. And I think that really was helpful to the growth and development and continued development of the SEC, as a whole. And, I think that this game is prime time because they have great team. We usually have a pretty good team, and it usually has significant consequences for, what's going to happen relative to, the West and who has a chance to, and no different this year as to who has a chance to maybe, win this side of it.
Terrific. Thanks a lot.
Next is that of WASB TV.
Hey, Coach. You've coached a number of guys at LSU who are now in coaching: Rohan Davey, Marcus Randall, Benny Brazil, Trev Falk, just to name a few. And they all kind of say the same thing. I understand what he was telling me now. And in particular, Trev Falk, who said he butted heads with you at times and tells a story about his shoe being untied in a walkthrough is a famous story. But how does it feel to hear those guys say that now? And in Trev's case, talk about you as a resource and somebody he can always lean on, and you always return his call.
Well, I love all those guys. They did a great job for us, and but I think sometimes, some guys don't understand whether you want to call it tough love or whatever when you're trying to get guys to do things the right way. So that not only impacts their ability to play better when they're on the team, but also it has an impact on, them having the chance to be more successful in life. And, look, I never realized what my dad was trying to do to me when I was growing up and when I was a teenager and when I was first in college. But, at some point in time, you kind of get it and you say, wow, I understand, why he was tough on me or making me do something the way he made me do it or whatever. And so I'm happy to hear that, some of those lessons learned are being beneficial to these guys.
And, Coach, not this weekend, but next, LSU is going to honor the 20-year anniversary of the 2003 National Championship team, your first National Championship team. Does it feel like 20 years, and what are your thoughts about that team today?
Well, it doesn't feel like 20 years, but, look, I love that team. That team's always going to be special because that was our first championship, and, those guys, came to LSU when we weren't very good, and a lot of guys on that, team bought into what we were trying to do and sort of set the precedent for what the program was all about. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate their commitment and the way they competed all year long, and just a great bunch of young men.
Thank you, Coach.
Next is Kennington Smith of the Athletic.
Good morning, Coach. Hope you're doing well. When you look at LSU's offense from the lens of their pre-snap motion, their route combinations by their receivers, what's the challenge to properly ID things pre-snap and post-snap to make sure you're not caught in a comparable position on the back end?
Well, I think that's one of the things that they do a great job of. So, they do a great job with formations. They do a great job with motions, which creates, opportunities for the defense to have to adjust and then, still be able to play not only the route combinations but also the run game that they have, which is, at times similar to triple option, where you have a zone player, you have a quarterback pulling it, you have somebody in the flat, whether they're blocking for the quarterback or running a flat pass. So this is very challenging because you got to have the right numbers, not only in coverage, but you also have to have the right numbers in the run game. So, and I think they've got great players doing it, but they got a great concept that they've, developed those players in, and they do a great job of executing it.
Next is Nick Alvarez of AL.com.
Yeah, Nick, excuse me. Brian Kelly was on here a little while ago, and he mentioned how he and LSU's AD have kind of communicated wanting the Alabama game to be one of their permanent SEC opponents. Are those conversations that you guys have had, and is that something you'd reciprocate?
No, I think this is a great game that has tremendous fan interest, and it's been a great game for the last 15, for however long I've been here. They got a great atmosphere at their stadium. We got a great atmosphere at our stadium. I think, both fan bases look forward to the game, and I think as many of these, types of fan interest, rivalry games, whatever you want to call them, that we can, sort of keep over time, is beneficial to the conference and, beneficial to, the players who play the game.
Next is Gary Graves, the Associated Press.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Your team is ranked 8th in the initial college football playoff rankings, and you've got tough games coming up this month. How do you keep your guys focused on the bottom line, just winning, as opposed to maybe thinking about the playoff standing and maybe trying to win big? Does that really matter to your guys?
No, I don't think so. I think, we're not even focused on, you said focused on winning. I think we want to focus on, the execution that we need to get so that we have the opportunity, to have success, win, whatever you want to call it, and, practice every day the technical things that are going to help you be able to carry over in the game that will actually help you execute so that you have an opportunity to be successful against really good players and really good teams. So it's more stay focused on the process of what you have to do and not become outcome-oriented and create a bunch of anxiety for yourself, but just play the next play that moment. Don't look at the scoreboard. Don't be affected by external factors, and that's challenging, but I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah. As a follow-up, as you look at the schedule, how challenging is it for you this final month of the season?
Well, we got one game that we're looking at right now, and that's the next one that we play. It's challenging in this conference. If you look at the last 5 games we played, they're all challenging too. So we got a really, really challenging game this week that we're trying to focus on and do the best we can to have an opportunity to make the next game important.
We'll go to Griffin McVeigh.
Building off the question about playing LSU every single year, in the past you've kind of hinted at the SEC going to 7+1 model where there's one fixed, rivalry every single year. Do you think there would be any kind of consideration, whether it's from y'all or the SEC that LSU would be that one opponent?
I haven't really thought about it, that much, but we got some natural rivalry games here that have tremendous fan interest, whether it's Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU. So if you're only going to play one of those, somebody's going to be disappointed. I think if we eventually expand the schedule in the league, which probably will happen someday with that many teams, and you have 3 fixed, then probably got a little better chance of that happening.
That's all your time today, Coach. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.